Okay. Shalom Aleichem, everyone. Shimka Yom HaSabbat. The joy of the Sabbath be with you. We're going to continue on with the Matthew study. The Basarah of Yeshua out of Matthew 5:14. We did Matthew 5:13 on last week that says that we are the malah, the salt, not of the earth. That's not how it's written, as it's written in Hadith. No, olam. We are the salt of the world. Okay, salt is a substance that when you ingest it creates thirst. It's also a preservative. And I didn't get into that part, but like the Shalakim Saul said, may we be preserved in our whole body, soul, and spirit unto the parousia of Yeshua. Okay, so it's a element of that we're not going to explore. When we get into, as we progress, as this teaching progress, we'll get into the doctrine of life and mortality that will qualify that element of being salt. Okay? We haven't even made people thirsty yet. None less to bring them in a situation where they can understand the preservative power of the word as we walk in that light of the word. But we are the salt. We are those who are supposed to make the world hungry for righteousness. Let me say that word again. Righteousness, not race. Okay? I'm so tired of the whole, having lived 55 years in this country, I'm so sick of the whole race dialogue that I can spit. So I will. Okay, because as you come into greater enlightenment, you recognize that it is a lie. The truth is the teachings of righteousness that empowers us, that enlightens us, and that makes us a light. So Yeshua continue on that he wants us to cause a thirst in the world for righteousness. Be salt. Okay? Be salt. Be salty. Let people taste the salt of your words and create in them that desire to be righteous. Now, me saying this doesn't justify at all the evils of supremacist culture. It doesn't mean I want to move next door to anyone. I want to take on and assimilate, culturally assimilate, because I was taught that everything you do is right and everything I do as an African is wrong. No, I don't believe in that. But I do believe that the power of righteousness is the power by which we are able to ascend beyond all this confusion. And I know it to be a fact. Okay? So we don't want to, talk as if this supremacist madness doesn't have an effect. It does, a very negative effect. But when you come into the light of the truth, when you begin to study line upon line, precept upon precept, put yourself under wise teachers and not these junior flips that's babbling, but under wise teachers, and read the books of wise men who have spent a lifetime studying the scriptures and studying the social phenomenon and the cause and effects psychologically and ontologically and culturally that supremacist culture has had on you, then you can produce something more than just a lot of religious rhetoric, social rhetoric, race rhetoric. That ain't going to get us nowhere. It's going to be like this. Just right back in the position. 50 years from now, we right back in the position. And it got worse. Believe me, the African in America, those who call themselves Hebrew, those who practice Yoruba, those who practice the Meter, until they get beyond the cliche of race consciousness, not the cliche of race consciousness, but the consciousness of race, and come into the consciousness of righteous culture, it's going to be a circle. That's what race doctrine was designed to do, is to keep us going in the circle. It is not our blackness, our brownness, our Africanness that is enslaved. It is our culture, our character. And when you get just that enlightenment to understand that the teachings that Yeshua in Matthew 5, 6, and 7 are teachings of righteousness and concerning righteousness by which we can develop divine culture, divine character. Okay? So Yeshua continued on to identify the responsibility of being salt. Now he identifies the responsibility of being light bearers. And in the end, in the bearing of that light, what we shouldn't do to that light. Okay? Okay, we shouldn't be doing to that light. So let's read. Me'or. From lighting, okay, atem, you, but it's in the plural. This is the plural you. Plural. From lighting you. Okay, see, you didn't light yourself. You may think that you're all wise. You may think that you're all intelligent. You may think that Willie Slick babbling. Okay, we just went off. No, with Willie Slick babbling is intelligence, but it's not. See, our intelligence comes from a source other than us, other than our flesh, other than our own ontological disposition. Our intelligence comes from Yahuwah, from lighting you. See, you've been lit. As the scripture says that the soul of man is the neshamat. Okay, is the candle of Yahuwah. So we just a candle. The neshamat of man is the candle of Yahuwah. We just a candle. And when we're lit, we're not lit based upon our action. We're lit or enlightened based upon divine action. Okay? So Yeshua said, from me or from lighting you. Be'olam, in the world. Okay? See, I'm lighting you in this world of darkness. And when you put lights in darkness, that light becomes distinguishable. That means you should be distinguished culturally and in character from the rest of the world. Okay? Culturally and in character from the rest of the world. Mi ora atim be'olam. From lighting you in the world. Ir, a city. A city, Benuya. Benuya. El Ahar. A city dwelling al upon be that dwells upon Hahar, the hill. Say what you're going to say so I can hear you. Oh, yeah. Y'all don't have to whisper. If you see me spell something wrong, just say, hey, you spelled it wrong. I ain't on that ego tripping. If I spelled it wrong, I just correct it. Okay? Okay. Mi ora atem ha'olam ir benuya el hahar lo, not. Okay? A term of negation. To call, you, right here, but it's in the active participle form. So, you all, okay? Not you all to hide and conceal, okay? Sitar, right here. Let me get the red one. Right here, satar. Okay? Not satar, but setar. Let me pronounce it right. Setar, licha setar. So Yeshua has taught us. He said, me'ora atem be'olam ir benuya el hahar lo tokol lecha shetar. Okay? From lighting you in the world. Okay? Now I'm going to light you up with some true knowledge, wisdom, understanding that will develop a character in you and you will become a city dwelling upon the hill. Okay? Now we know a city relates to I'm not going to go there. No. I'm going to wait till everybody matures a little bit more. I'm not going to, and I did that in Milwaukee and that took them somewhere they didn't need to go. But you are a city, a collective of light bearers. We'll keep it practical. You are a city, a collective, an active collective that dwells upon a hill. When you're up on a hill, that means you can see things more clearly. Okay? When you're below, you looking and but when you elevate, then you can see things more clarity. So being upon the hill or dwelling upon the hill means that you are in a greater state of clarity. Okay? Not you all to hide. Okay, let's deal with this concept. I give you light. I'm going to set you on a hill of clarity. Okay? And you're not to hide this light and the clarity that comes forth from it. You're not to exclusify it as your own. Okay? Now, Yeshua was teaching the Yahudim this because this is what they had done. They took the ideal of being called and chosen as being more special than anybody else. That just because I'm a son of Abraham, I got ups on you. Okay? You ain't nothing but a bunch of heathen. You unworthy of the word. Bunch of Edomites. Okay? So they took an antagonistic view. And from that antagonistic view, always the definition of something is going to change to complement the antagonism. Understand how the mind works. If you're thinking in anger, whatever you are studying is going to be interpreted based upon the quality of that anger. If you're thinking in terms of prejudice, then everything you study is going to be defined within the quality of that prejudice. So Yeshua is saying, look, you wasn't called to keep the light for yourself. You wasn't called to exclusify this light just in the border of this country called Israel, so that you can walk around with your head up and say, because I'm a son of Abraham, we got ups on everybody. Okay. We're better than everybody. Now get away. You can't get away. See, this is not why the Torah was to produce this diabolical mentality of exclusivism. Okay? And this was happening when the Europeans got a hold of the book in the 9th or 10th century. Right? When the barbarians got the book and they began to associate the word that, okay, we are the chosen people. We have manifest destiny. Now we are supposed to go and convert everybody to worship Jesus, Christos. Okay? A Jesus that is not compatible to the Yeshua of Scriptures. Because the Yeshua of Scriptures did not inaugurate a new covenant to produce a collective of people to go throughout the world and use the Bible to pacify the people and then enslave, murder, rape, and kill. And then say it's manifest destiny. It's a part of Yahweh's divine providence. And this is why it is so important that we understand that if we interpret the word based upon this same mindset of exclusivism, it's going to produce the same product. Blessed is the man that walk not in the counsel of the Rashim, nor standeth in the way of the sinner, nor sitteth in the seat of the hateful. You want to trade seats with the Ku Klux Klan? You want to trade seats with Hitler, the Nazis, these race supremacist lunatics? But it's okay. It didn't justify the same acts of hatred as being from Yahweh in the same manner that they did. And this is what Yeshua is telling us. Lo tokol lecha shetar. That you were not called to be exclusive. To receive this light. To lift yourself over everyone else as inferior. No. This is the light of redemption. To restore man from opposition to the righteousness of Torah. See, this is the true mission of the Israel, Kal Israel, that I understand. That I believe that the prophets and Yeshua taught of. Israel that is a light, who was made to be a light in the world, who was made to be the salt of the world, to enlighten them to the path of righteousness, to make them thirsty for the reception of this righteousness through the obedience of truth. You see, that's where it's all backwards when you get these junior flips filled with anger, constriction. Don't give a slave a book of freedom. He'll turn that book into slavery. Why? Because he is seeing from the quality of his enslavement and not from the light that is given to us by Creator, Yahweh Elohim. And this is why Saul taught, look, don't put novices in positions of responsibility. They'll get uppity. They need to be trained, cultured. They need a mind renewal so that they can see not from the old man, but from the light of the new man that has been lighted. You see what I'm saying? And nobody wants to be lighted, because to be lighted means that you have to discipline yourself in a culture of prayer, in a culture of studying, not Googling, in a culture of studying, and in a culture of obedience to the truth. Train yourself to respond to the negative circumstances in life, a response that is generated from the integrity of the commandments and not from, that's why Yeshua said, look, don't resist the evil. What he's saying, don't respond to him. Okay? Keep walking in the commandments. That's why he said love. See, love don't mean you embrace somebody, move next door, change your hair from black to blonde. Oh, see, we just loving them. No, you becoming like them. I'm not trying to be equal to my oppressor. I am going to transcend my oppressor. To be equal with a wicked man means that you'll conform to his wickedness. But to be equal to the righteous means you conform to his righteousness. And that's where we messed up with this integration madness. We integrated and went into the cave of the wolf and came out. Now we worse than the wolf. Now we stealing from each other at an epidemic proportion, killing one another at an epidemic proportion. In other words, we are acting out their hatred towards blackness, towards the Africanness that we have. Now we got that hatred in us, acting it out, negating and minimizing one another, not supporting one another, and only have a cloth of cliche. You ain't going to rebel against master because you have become the master. You don't got no problem with the Ku Klux Klan because you one of its members now. the mindset. You got no respect for your elders, no respect for your women, no respect for family. That's what they taught you to do. Okay? And then you use Elohim to, well, I just don't need no man to teach me. I'm walking by the Spirit. Come on, man. You know, Yahweh would not appoint apostles, preachers, teachers into the assembly if that was not the order through which he wanted to communicate his word. Faithful men, though, not these pork chop preachers that live under the image of the beast. We know they flesh because they worship the image of flesh. They waiting for him any minute to pop up in the sky. Never happened. Okay? But the point that Yeshua is teaching is the purpose, that we are salt. We are to create the thirst of righteousness. We are to be a light and enlightenment of righteousness. Not just to those who call themselves Israel, but to the whole perimeter of earth, of the world. Okay? So if the world is falling into darkness, it's because we ain't projecting no light or salt into the world. It's our responsibility to change the conditions of the earth. Creation itself waits for the eager manifestation of the sons of Elohim. Why? So you can tell everybody the Hebrews was black. No. But to convert the world back to a divine order of existence. And I'll keep teaching it. To 1, to 10, to 20, to 100. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not traumatized. It's interesting. It's interesting, the perpetuation of ignorance. And how we are able to sophisticate ignorance and idiocy to make it sound as if it has a purpose in it other than ignorance. I don't need nobody to teach me the Hebrews was black. We studied that back in the 70s. People jumping up, oh God, like it's something new. It's not even that difficult. All you got to do is look at where Israel is in the upper northern Africa. We already know that was inhabited by black and brown people, so it couldn't have been. But that's not the most relevant thing that I need to know about my Hebrewness. The most relevant thing that I need to know is the divine purpose in which I am called the Hebrew. But this jack-leg mess that's going out, I will not stand with it, and I hope none of you will stand with it. Because it's foolishness to build theology based upon the tone of a skin, which is only created through a chemical reaction. It's a biochemical reaction. It's there for one purpose, to protect your skin from ultraviolet rays. I ain't going to go there, because I'm tired of talking about it, and I'm not going to even deal with it after I get through with chapter 5, because this is what Yeshua is dealing with in chapter 5. Righteousness, righteousness. You wasn't called to exclusify yourself from the rest of the world. You was called to be salt to the world. You was called to be light to the world. And he even gets more specific on this as the teachings in chapter 5 go on in the Hebrew script. If you're still in King James, you never see the total reality of the teachings of Yeshua based upon my studies of this Hebrew manuscript. Okay? And that's why we're doing it in the Hebrew. So we'll say it again, then we'll close. Meor, from lighting you. This is why Yeshua, hey look, I'm going to light you. Yah's going to light you. And from lighting you in the world, you are a city, dwelling upon the hill, a city dwelling in a state of clarity related to things and the purpose of righteousness. Okay? Tokol, the hill, lo tokol, le ha shetar. Not you are to hide it. Don't hide it. Don't exclusify it. Don't get this light and think you were called to be above, or in a narcissistic sense, above everyone else. Oh, we was called to be above, but above in righteousness. Not in race, not in color, but above in righteousness. Because righteousness is produced in us from obedience to the commandments. So the end result of obedience is what makes us above the rest of the world who has purposed themselves in the life of wickedness. So we're going to continue on, okay, until Yahweh opens up the door where we can have a greater voice to announce the message of righteousness. And I am a Hebrew, a Messianic Hebrew. My wife is a Messianic Hebrew. But we will not join those Hebrews that has conformed the word to their prejudice, conformed the word to their antagonism, conformed the word to their demeanor of disrespect of order. Okay? But we will go forth to, when Yahweh opens the door, we will go forth and we will announce the message of the kingdom to all men. Okay? And we will continue to stand politically. Our position will continue to be African nationalism in light of the supremacist oppression, to conquer that on a political, social level. But our spiritual purpose is to declare righteousness and the repentance of sins and the kingdom of Elohim developed in man unto glorification. And if anybody else want to leave, and if anybody else don't want to come back, believe me, I'm a warrior. Okay? It don't matter to me. My responsibility is to live in accordance to the obedience of truth. Not to build or to make myself into something admirable where I'm getting awards from the Rashim and awards from the races and pats on the back from dummies. Don't need it. I'm a warrior, trained and able to appropriate a disposition of continuance towards the goal of righteousness that is in Yeshua HaMashiach. So we wish all who have heard this message, those that will hear this message, Shalom Aleichem this Sabbath day. May the joy and the peace of Sabbath continue to be with you throughout this day. B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach. Andon et Yom HaSabbat. Selah. Sabbath Seder is over. Shalom.